The sun's shining, birds are singing, and all feels right in the world.
Until the season changes, and suddenly you lose your motivation to get out of bed. In fact, 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, no matter the season or time of year.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all, because we want you to live your best life and be your best you all year round.
Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
In case you're confused, you are with me, Jeremy Harper, on Raising Howl, part of the Believe Network, also part of the Funbelt Podcast Network. Probably haven't heard from us in a while, Funbelt Podcast, me and Dusty and Shane. Quite frankly, it's just one of those weird lulls in college sports, especially for the Sun Belt, where things are, I'm not saying winding down. Hey, baseball's still in full swing. So softball. But, basketball's pretty much done, except, hey, for the women's NIT. Man, have you been checking this out? You know what? I haven't made it to a game yet. And I feel bad because it's right there in Jonesboro, but, life kind of interferes. Life interferes. Been catching it on TV. Girls are playing great. The women just have a good game. And now look, the Final Four. For the women's NIT, half of it is the Sun Belt, and congratulations for the Sun Belt. Arkansas State takes on Marshall tomorrow, April Fool's Day, in Jonesboro. South Dakota takes on Illinois State. Same day. And that's good for the Sun Belt. It's good for the Sun Belt because, quite frankly, the Sun Belt just hasn't performed very well this year. In the NCAA tournament, just 2 blowout losses. I really thought Troy was going to do a little bit better against Nebraska. For the men. I thought that was going to happen. Actually, in I'm in 2 NCAA brackets. I had Troy moving on in both. I just thought Nebraska was kind of newbies there. Troy under Scott Cross, very competitive. It didn't work. It's all right. But what does that say about Sunbelt men's basketball? I would say that it doesn't look very kindly. But really what we should be focused on are the women. Arkansas State women bringing it against Cleveland State this weekend. Not just bringing it on the court, but the fans brought it. 2,000 people. It's really good for Arkansas State women's program. Destiny Rogers continuing to win a bunch of games, throwing up 3-pointers. It's just been fun to watch. Destiny Rogers, one of the better hires that we've seen. Well, maybe a collection of great hires that we've seen at Arkansas State. Yeah, I was talking to our old friend Kelly Damphouse. I'm still in touch with the guy. He's very proud, He was integral in that. And there were bumps in the road. Didn't start off great. Now we got 2 seasons of just exceptional basketball play. And I would say that's mostly because of Destiny Rogers. Doing just an exceptional job at Arkansas State. Now they're in the Final Four at WNIT. And let's face it, the WNIT isn't exactly like the all-star lineup. Let's not pretend that. But it's not like they didn't have like some name brands. You got Florida Gulf Coast that participated. Middle Tennessee was there. They got beat by Cleveland State, who we thumped. FIU. Yeah, you got old guys like Austin Peay. We know Austin Peay. Pepperdine was in there. Rich school out of California. The Air Force and Army. Our old bowling foe, Youngstown State. They got beat up by Marshall. Yeah, so, I mean, it's not a lineup of zeros, but it is a lineup of people you may not see as top tier. Wake Forest was in there. Got beat by another bowling school. Maryland Eastern Shore. Well, it's funny, Youngstown State and Maryland Eastern Shore, they had to face each other in the next round. Youngstown State clobbered them. Yeah, but you know those names from bowling. I know I do. Ohio was in there. They didn't get past UMBC. Yeah, so now Arkansas State in the Final Four. South Dakota, Montana State. Wait, I'm sorry. That's not even right. I keep doing that. South Dakota versus Illinois State. Arkansas State versus Marshall. That's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy that. That happens April 1st. That happens tomorrow, Wednesday. I don't know when you're listening to this. Should be good. Yes, we talked about Destiny Rogers, how she's turned around that program. There's another coach on campus who has done the same thing, this time with baseball, Mike Silva. Last time we spoke, Mike Silva had just taken 2 of 3 from Southern Miss, a perennial baseball powerhouse, and pretty much acknowledged as the best team in the Sun Belt. At least by the polls, at least by the RPI. Yeah, then something happened, guys. I'm not saying that Arkansas State has de-evolved into a bad baseball team. I just think there's some jitters going on. They go to Georgia State, lose 2 of 1, or 2 of 3. 2 of 1. They win 1, lose 2. They don't look particularly good in the loss. Georgia State's nothing special on the mound or in the field or at the plate, but gave Arkansas State all the trouble they could handle. You think, okay, they come back to Jonesboro, take on a James Madison team that isn't a bad team. They've got some hitters. But James Madison is sort of a mid Sun Belt team. You think, okay, we can possibly sweep this series, and we should look good doing it. We don't look good doing it. We go 2-1, and that's fine. Winning the series is really what you want to do, right? It doesn't even matter who the opponent is. You win 2 of 3, mission accomplished. But man, first night, the team just looked sloppy, tired. They didn't look like that team at all who had taken on Southern Miss. Top of the order couldn't hit. Nobody could field a throw from the catcher. Nobody could catch a ground ball or make a good pitch. It was tough. It looked like the game was a loss. I turned it off after 6 innings, but that's when Mike Silva said, okay, we're going to flip all of our guys. We're going to put every starter out except 2. We're going to replace them with the bench guys. I believe in these guys. These guys, they've got the energy. And lo and behold, wow. Red Wolves win. They do it the long ball. Red Wolves' second most home runs this year, by the way, in the Sun Belt. Texas State, they've clobbered a few more. Texas State, they're legit. ULM, they're legit. The hottest hitting team in the Sun Belt, that's the Warhawks. So second game, you think, okay, well, that's going to carry over, right? There's going to be new focus, new enthusiasm, and quite frankly, wasn't a great start. It was a great start, actually. Arkansas State leads off with a home run. I think it was Martinez. Home run. It was a grand slam. Pow. immediately Arkansas State gives up 4 more runs. It was immediately tied 4-4. Just not much focus going on, you know? Arkansas State had that game won, though. Should have. 9th inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes. James Madison pops a 2-run home run to tie the game a couple innings later. Extra innings later. Red Wolves are a 11-10 loser to James Madison. Arkansas State rebounds in the next game with an improbable 2-1 game. Pitching was pretty good, I guess. I was watching it. Seemed like just all the batters were like kind of done. Not just A-State, but James Madison. They were all cooked. They were tired of hitting home runs, I guess. Am I worried about this Arkansas State team? Listen, this is an Arkansas State team that a program that hasn't been good in a long time. They're not like the Cajuns or Southern Miss or even Troy or even Georgia Southern having a bad year. Even South Alabama, who have had recent years of excellence. There's no been there, done that for Arkansas State. This is all virgin territory for Arkansas State. So, yeah, you know, they get the big win over Arkansas. They get a couple big wins over Southern Miss. And then the next game was supposed to be Missouri State. Great baseball program just north of us. Not a conference game, but will have been, you know, something with meat, and it gets canceled due to weather. I don't even know what the weather was. But it got canceled. Then you head into Georgia State cold. Then we didn't have another weekend game. I don't know what's going on with our midweek games. We just don't seem to, I don't know, they just seem to dry up. We do play Memphis next week. I'm looking forward to that. But am I worried about this team? No, not really. I mean, I'm worried that, yes, maybe that there's some growing pains involved. There's some maturity. There's some experience that needs to happen here. As a fan, am I patient enough for that? I guess so. I mean, I'm immature too. I don't know how to deal with a winning baseball team. Like I said, I turned off the game midway through on Friday night after being kind of disgusted by the play I was seeing. They win that game. I ended up turning it back on in the 8th inning and got to watch the comeback, and it was great. It was great, just as bad as it was terrible to watch the collapse in Game 2. I guess maybe that's what baseball is. A series of collapses, of comebacks. It's a long season. And as a fan, you just got kind of roll with that. Listen, we can't expect to win every game. We can't expect to play well every game. But we got to get up for these games. Our next games are against Troy. Oh, God, Troy. What happened to you, Troy? Preseason ranked in the top 25 in one of the 1,000 baseball polls out there. It's supposed to be a good season for Troy. I don't know. Was it injuries? Was it just people not performing? They're sort of lower tier in hitting, mid-tier in pitching. That's going to be a good series to test the mettle of Arkansas State. Is Arkansas State really ready to be on this stage with the Southern Misses and the Louisianas and the Coastal Carolinas of the Sun Belt? Or is Arkansas State ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with those guys? If so, you got to beat Troy at home. I mean at home, at Troy's home. You got to win those games.
This is Mike Boileau of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
You got to take the series. You got to take 2 or 3. If you can't take 2 or 3 from Troy, then you're not really ready to be with Coastal Carolina. Is that bad? No. That's not bad. I mean, where has A-State baseball been before? It's incredible that we're having this conversation. It's unlikely. This is an unlikely conversation between you and I. Does Arkansas State have the right to be mentioned in the same breath as Coastal Carolina and Southern Miss? All right, well, we beat Southern Miss. Now, can we beat Troy? Troy, despite their abysmal record, pretty good RPI. Well, that'd be helpful to us. I know that RPI isn't everything, but when it comes to the selection time for tournament, it plays a role. It plays a role. Yeah. That's the truth. So we gotta win these games. Is the team pressing a little too much? Sure, especially at the top of the order. Is Mike Silva pressing a little bit? Maybe. Listen, I don't have any complaints, legitimate complaints for Mike Silva. He's a miracle worker. All right? He's got the magic wand. It was evident in that game 1 against James Madison. He knows what he's doing. Is he a little Tony La Russa-y? No, not falling asleep drunk at stoplight. I'm talking about maybe overthinking the management a little bit. What I mean is that he loves to switch out pitchers and play against matchups. He loves doing that. Lefty on lefty, righty on righty. He doesn't see if there's a hot hand, forget it. The hot hand's not going to win out over the matchup. Me, I always go with the hot hand. Silva, he sticks to his game plan. Is that a weakness or a strength? I don't know. I can't criticize Mike Silva. He's too good. He's done too much. So yeah, maybe and Tony La Russa, Hall of Fame manager, so I'm comparing him to a Hall of Fame manager. The brain. Remember, La Russa had this aura about him that he was super smart. He would bat like a power guy, 9th. Yeah, I have nothing to complain about Mike Silva. I have nothing to complain about A-State baseball. Yes, A-State baseball is not playing the same that they did against Southern Miss and Arkansas before that. They're not playing in the same way. That doesn't mean they won't get it together. Walton will start hitting dingers again. Quiller and Inscuff will start getting base again. Griffiths will get that OPS back above 1,000 like he had it for a while. Yeah, it's really the bottom of the lineup that's keeping everything together, and I love that. When was the last time Arkansas State can say, hey, the bottom of the lineup is really carrying this team? I have no idea. So Arkansas State heads over to Troy on Friday. I'll see them again on Tuesday when they come and play Memphis. Hello, drop by town. I have feelings for the city of Memphis. I've lived there for 10 years. I love the city of Memphis. I love the University of Memphis. The University of Memphis. I don't love the Tigers. That's different. The Tigers are my rival. University of Memphis, I love those guys. It's a good school in the city. The Tigers, I want to beat them every time. So yeah, I'm trying to drag Rex Steele, my brother, to the game. Chances are low he's going to show, but we'll see. I want to end this brief show, this succinct show, talking a little bit about men's basketball for A-State. Yeah. We've got, some defections. The portal giveth, but the portal generally taketh, right? And the portal doesn't open until the 7th, April 7th. But people are already making their intentions known. In fact, some coaches are already recruiting some of these guys. That's supposed to be against the rules. Huh. The rules don't apply, but that's fine. Already in the portal, Joey Chama, TJ Caldwell, the French connections in there, Freddie Salam Silla, and then our 3-point guy, Christian Harmon. I remember Christian Harmon at the beginning of the season went like 2 for like 28 for 3-point attempts. I was ready to kick him off the team. Not that Pannone would listen to me, but I said, what's wrong with this team is that our 3-point specialist cannot hit a 3-pointer. And he wasn't just missing 3-pointers. He was missing them badly. It was like, has this guy ever held a basketball before? Turned out to be one of our best players. The guy figured it out, stood up, started drilling 3-pointers left and right, became a leading scorer, Christian Harmon. Love the guy. Now he's gone. Or he says he's gone. Who knows? French connection. Love that guy at the beginning of the year. He was, he had the height. He had some size. He can hit a 3. He can play on the inside. And he just kind of vanished, right? Poof. He was out of the lineup. I don't know how we got in the doghouse. I don't understand basketball enough to point out and go, yeah, he's kind of a liability on defense, or he was missing his assignments. I don't know. Anyway, he's gone. TJ Caldwell, he started off the season very hot. He was the leading scorer at Arkansas State. He looked like he was going to be a legit star. He ended up coming off the bench. That's fine. He had his moments too. Transfer from Ole Miss. He's transferring again. Like I said, I would have liked to kept all these guys. Joey Chama spends a season at A-State, breaks his leg at the beginning of the year. Comes back. And he's kind of a mess, guys. Let's admit it. When Joey Chama first returned, he was a liability on the court. Yeah, it took him a while. It took him a while to get back into the flow. He was a turnover machine. He couldn't hit the threes. He poured it on at the end of the season. That's probably how he got that 6-man award. Because suddenly he was making waves. He was making big plays, making big threes. He was all over the place. He stands out because he's the shortest guy on the court. I would have liked to have kept Joey and TJ and Freddie and Christian. They're all going to go. Well, they say they're going to go. There's always time to reconsider. One guy who's not going to go is Ali Tunkana. Yeah. Or 7 foot something. I call him our 7 foot something because some places list him like at 7'3" and some list him at 7 foot even. I don't know how tall Ali Tunkana is. I don't know. Ali. At the beginning of the year, he was like a kind of a work, right? A work in progress. He's just sort of a body out there, sort of flailing around, waving his arms, kind of getting out muscled, missing layups, missing dunks. Coach Pannone, he did something that was kind of incredible, though. Instead of just sitting him on the bench and saying, okay, you need a little bit more seasoning, we'll see you get some minutes next year. He said, I'm going to just keep putting you out there. I'm just going to keep putting you out there, and you're going to get the minutes that you need, and you're going to develop on the fly. Experience is the best teacher. Tunkana ended up being a very valuable member of the team. Yes, the height is valuable. It's always good to have 7 foot or 7'3", whatever he's listed at. There's always good to have that. But he started to make blocks clean blocks. He started to make his layups. Every now and then he'd miss a dunk. That's okay. He'll get that strength. God, I hope. He even at times would hit free throws. His free throw mechanics actually got better. Like at the beginning of the year, it was a nightmare to watch. It was like watching The Thing on TBS. It was horrendous to look at. Last time I saw him shoot up a free throw, it looked like a normal shot. So I don't know. He's working on it. Tucana says he's going to stay. He's going to stick around. I mean, we've seen that before, right? At Arkansas State, Omir. Norchad, remember Norchad Omir? I'm staying. I'm back. A week later, he wasn't back. Yeah, okay. Tucana isn't exactly Omir. All right. It's not Norchad Omir again. He's probably going to stick around. I'm glad. I hope some of these other guys stick around too. I hope some people follow that lead, because that's the way you build a program now in the Sun Belt, is that you keep a couple guys. You keep some dudes, that maybe they don't even have to be the very best dudes, but they have to have had some experience, because they have to know the playbook. They got to know what the coach wants and expects from them. And that's how you get a Sun Belt program to win the Sun Belt, through experience, not having to retrain a team all year long. That's how you do it. Now in the Sun Belt, we no longer have the luxury of taking 6 or 7 or 8 players and watching them grow and mature as a team over the years. Now, we're lucky if we get those 2 years. Hell, South Florida was lucky to get 1 year of Brian Hodgson. We got 2.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.